Hello everyone, this is Paleo Nerd back with yet another natural history video. Last time we went over the first part of the Abelisauroid family tree, but today I wanted to start off yet another group, the clade Ceratosauria. If you are somehow unfamiliar with natural history, this is the series where I cover a group or clade of animals and list every known member, as well as some animals that might belong in the group. Please keep in mind that since dinosaur phylogeny is almost always changing, what I list here may change in the future. That being said, today's video will focus again on the clade Ceratosauria, which includes all theropods more closely related to Ceratosaurus than to Allosaurus, Megalosaurus, or Coelurosaurs. The clade originally included Elaphrosaurus and Elaphrosaurids, but recent studies show that these groups belong outside Ceratosauria. The typical characteristics of Ceratosaurs are a robust skull with increased height and occasionally head ornamentation, as well as relatively shorter arms than other theropods. Several ceratosaurs also have evidence that they were covered in bony plates called osteoderms, suggesting that this may be a trait shared by most, if not all, ceratosaurs. This also implies that ceratosaurs split off from tetanurans very early in theropod evolution, as feathers or filament coverings are considered very basal in the dinosaur family tree. This clade is known from almost every continent except for Antarctica and have a temporal range of about 199 to 66 million years ago, from the beginning of the early Jurassic to the end of the late Cretaceous. The main superfamily of Ceratosauria is Abelisauroidea, but first we will cover the more basal ceratosaurs that don't quite fit into Abelisauroidea, many of which include the first large theropods, like our first entry. Saltriovenator Zanolei, or Zanella's Saltrio hunter, made quite a few headlines last year when it was first described, with many championing it as the first large theropod. Its genus name refers to Saltrio in northern Italy, while its species name honors Angelo Zanella, the paleontologist who first discovered its remains in August of 1996. 4 years later, in 2000, it was informally given the name Saltriosauro, often Latinized to Saltriosaurus. This changed when it was officially described in December of 2018 by Dal Sazzo, Simone Maggianucco, and Andrea Chow. During their analysis, Saltriovenator was found to be a basal ceratosaur, sister taxon to Berberosaurus, which will be the next entry, and among the first of its kind. It is currently known from the Saltrio Formation, which dates to the Cenomurian age of the early Jurassic period, about 199 to 187 million years ago. Although it is known from fragmentary remains, Saltriovenator has been estimated to reach a length of over 7 meters or 24 feet long, a height of over 2 meters or 6 feet tall at the shoulder, and a weight of around 1 to 1.5 US tons when Ceratosaurus is used as reference. This pretty much confirms that Saltriovenator was one of, if not the first of the large theropods. Saltriovenator is the only known dinosaur from the Saltrio Formation, which is believed to have been a marine-based formation due to the presence of ammonites at the site. Despite this, Saltriovenator was likely not an aquatic animal, and as such it is likely that the remains were simply washed out to sea after the animal died. It was likely the top predator of its time, preying on basal sauropodomorphs and perhaps even the first true sauropods, although given its coastal environment it was likely no stranger to seafood, eating whatever poor animal washed up on the shore. It is sometimes portrayed with similar horns to Ceratosaurus, except smaller, but until we obtain more remains, this cannot be proved or disproved. Regardless, Saltriovenator is a pretty interesting animal and a good omen for what's to come for theropods. Our next entry is closely related to Saltriovenator to the point where the two are considered sister taxon. That animal is Berberosaurus Laevisuchus, or Berber lizard from the Lias epoch, which refers to the Berbers, the indigenous people of Morocco where it was found, and the Lias epoch, another name for the early Jurassic when it lived. It was described in 2007 by Ronan Alain and his colleagues, and although some studies placed it as a Dilophosaur, it currently maintains its position as a basal ceratosaur. It is currently known from Unit G of the Toundot Continental series in Morocco, which has been dated from the Pliensbachian to the Toarcian age of the early Jurassic, about 190 to 175 million years ago. It is estimated to reach a length of 3 to 5 meters, or 10 to 16 feet long, a height of 1 to 1.5 meters, or 3 to 5 feet tall at the shoulder, and a weight of 150 to 220 kilograms, or 330 to 500 pounds. Only one other dinosaur is known from the formation Berberosaurus was found in, that being the sauropod Ceratosaurus, which was found alongside it. This herbivore is estimated to be around 9 meters or 30 feet long, so Berberosaurus likely preyed on its young, as well as other small to mid-sized herbivores that may have lived in the area. Next is Fosterovenator churi, Chur in Foster's Hunter, which was named and described in 2014 by S.G. Dahlman after both John Foster and Daniel Chur. It is currently known from a tibia, astragalus, and fibula, the first two having been discovered back in 1879. Currently, its classification hasn't really been determined beyond a place in Ceratosauria, and even that has been questioned, but I'm sticking with the Ceratosaur classification. It could be a ceratosaurid like Ceratosaurus, or it could be more like Elaphrosaurus. And while most best depictions seem to lean towards it being more like Ceratosaurus, it could really go either way. Currently, all we know about Fosterovenator is that it is a theropod, probably a ceratosaur of some kind, found in the Morrison Formation that lived somewhere between 155 to 145 million years ago. The next and last member outside of Abelisauroidea lived a bit later than the others. Camarillasaurus Cerugidae, or Cerugida's Camarilla lizard, refers to Camarillas in northeastern Spain, where it was found, and honors Pedro Cerugidae Buj, I'm sorry if I butchered that, the farmer who found the fossils. It was described by Barbara Sanchez Hernandez and Michael J. Benton in 2014 based on fragmentary remains from the Camarillas Formation, which is dated to the Barremian age of the early Cretaceous from 129 to 125 million years ago. The animal itself is quite small, at a length of around 3 to 4 meters or 10 to 13 feet long, a height of about a meter or 3 feet tall at the shoulder, and a weight of around 70 kilograms or 155 pounds. The Camarillas Formation it is known from has very similar fauna to that of the Wessex Formation in England, which dates to the same time period, as well as another Spanish formation, the La Huergina Formation. Besides Camarillasaurus, the Camarillas Formation has the basal ornithopod Gideon mantella, the Iguanodon della Parentia, as well as unnamed sauropods and hypsilophodonts. The fauna of Camarillas may have also coexisted with that of the similar dated La Juarina formation from the same area of Spain. This would add the Ornithomimosaur Pelecanomimus, the Iguanodont Mantellisaurus, and the Carcharodontosaur Concavenator, as well as the pterosaur Europagera. Camarillasaurus likely would have preyed on the smaller animals like Gideon mantella, Hypsilophodonts, and birds like Concornis, Eoaluavis, and Berberosaurus, while Concavenator may have preyed on the Ceratosaur. Due to the fragmentary nature of the fossils, Camarillasaurus' appearance isn't really well known, and it is possible that it is in fact a member of Noasauridae, although that remains to be seen. Now we're on to the superfamily Abelisauroidea, which consists of all ceratosaurs more closely related to Abelisaurosaurus or Elaphrosaurus or Ceratosaurus. The superfamily is currently divided into 2 or 3 families, depending on where you put Ceratosauridae. There is Noasauridae, Abelisauroidae, and Ceratosauridae, which I already mentioned. Noasauridae and Ceratosauridae are the only 2 families I'll be able to cover in this video, but first let's go over the Abelisauroids that we don't know enough about to place in a particular family. The first Abelisauroid on our list is quite literally the earliest known Abelisauroid and one of the earliest known Ceratosaurs, period. Ozraptor subutai, or Subutai's Australian thief, which refers to Aussies, a nickname for Australians, as well as to Subutai, a fictional character from the movie Conan the Barbarian. It is based off a single piece of the tibia found near Geraldton in Western Australia, which was discovered by some college students in 1967 and described by John Albert Long and Ralph Monar in 1998. Although occasionally depicted as a dromaeosaur-like theropod, a study in 2015 found that it is most likely the earliest known Abelisauroid, although we really won't know until we find more remains. Regardless, based on the tibia, it was a very small animal at an estimated length of about 2 meters or 6.5 feet long, a height of half a meter or 1.6 feet tall, and a weight of maybe around 4.5 kilograms or 10 pounds. Whether or not the specimen was fully grown cannot be determined from the current fossil remains, but I would personally say it is possible that this is a juvenile or even infant specimen. Ozraptor is currently known only from the Colalura Sandstone Formation in Western Australia, which dates to the Bajocian age of the Middle Jurassic, about 170 to 165 million years ago. Although the only other animals in this formation are an unnamed sauropod, a plesiosaur, and a pliosaur, the sauropod Roetosaurus has been found in another Bajocian age formation in eastern Australia, and may have coexisted with Ozraptor, perhaps even being the sauropod from the Colalura Sandstone. This sauropod was likely much bigger than Ozraptor at an estimated length of 15 meters or 50 feet long and a weight of around 9 US tons, leading credence to the idea that the holotype of Ozraptor belongs to a juvenile or infant. Regardless, it likely at least hunted juvenile Roetosaurus, and together the two are the oldest named dinosaurs from the continent of Australia. After Ozraptor, we have no basal Abelisauroids until the early Cretaceous, with Ligabueino and Andesii, or Ligabue's Little One of the Andes, which refers to Italian paleontologist Giancarlo Ligabue, who discovered the animal, and the Andes Mountains, which are near where it was discovered. It was described by Jose Fernando Bonaparte in 1996 based on the extremely fragmentary remains of a juvenile individual found in the La Amarga Formation in Argentina, which dates from the Barremian to the early Aptian of the early Cretaceous, about 130 to 120 million years ago. If that formation sounds familiar to you, that's because it is the same formation which houses Amargasaurus, a dicrasaurid sauropod that is one of the weirdest looking sauropods ever discovered. Other animals known from the formation are Amarga titanus, Zapalosaurus, an unnamed stegosaur, Amargasuchus, and Vincelestes. What exactly Ligabueino preyed on, or even if it was a carnivore to begin with, is not currently known due to the fragmentary remains, which don't include any cranial remains. And the best size estimate based on the remains is a length of 70 meters or 2.70 centimeters or 2.2 meters long, although adults were probably larger. It could resemble the Abelisauroids, or it could be more like the Noasaurids. We just don't know. Regardless, it was probably not the only theropod in its environment, and it is likely given a time period that a Carcharodontosaur of some sort was the top predator in the area. That's all we really know about this animal, and unfortunately the fragmentary Abelisauroids don't end here. Dahalokely tokana, or small lonely bandit, is derived from Malagasy, the native language of Madagascar where it was found. It was described quite recently, in 2013, by Andrew Fark and Joseph Sertic, based on remains they found in 2007. The remains, which consisted of vertebrae and partial ribs, were found in the Ambolafotsi Formation in northern Madagascar, which has been dated to the Turonian of the mid-Cretaceous, about 94 to 89 million years ago. Its genus name, which translates to small bandit, refers to its small size compared to Abelisaurids, as it is estimated at a length of 3.5 to 4 meters or 11.5 to 13 feet long, a height of 1 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet tall, and a weight of 200 kilograms or 440 pounds. Once again, whether it is an Abelisaurid or a Noasaurid is unknown, which means its exact diet is not entirely certain, although it was likely a carnivore. Although it is the only known dinosaur from its formation, it likely coexisted with sauropods, as sauropods are known from both earlier and later formations. Given it is the earliest known Abelisaurid from Madagascar, it was likely the ancestor of either Majungasaurus or Masiakasaurus, depending on whether or not it is an Abelisaurid or a Noasaurid. Now we're on to the first family of Abelisauroidea, Noasauridae, which includes all Abelisauroids more closely related to Noasaurus than to Carnotaurus. The family is known mostly from South America, Asia, and Africa, while possible Noasaurids are known from Europe and North America. The group ranges from the Bathonian of the mid-Jurassic to the Maastrichtian of the late Cretaceous, about 168 to 66 million years ago. Although closely related to the Abelisaurids, Noasaurs look much more like other small theropods like Dromaeosaurids and Coelophysoids. They are divided into two subfamilies, Noasaurinae and Elaphrosaurinae, with the main difference between the two being their teeth, or in the case of Elaphrosaurinae, lack thereof. Noasaurians, like Masiakasaurus, had sharp teeth which splayed outward on the lower jaw, suggesting they were carnivores, while Elaphrosaurians had small teeth that seemed adapted for both plants and meat as babies, but as they grew up they lost those teeth and developed toothless beaks, and as such started out as omnivores and grew into herbivores. We'll be starting with the oldest subfamily, at least chronologically, Elaphrosaurinae. Elaphrosaurinae is a subfamily which consists of all Noasaurids more closely related to Elaphrosaurus than to Noasaurus. This group's placement in Noasauridae is not entirely certain, as some studies place them as being much more basal in the Ceratosaur family tree, but I'll be sticking with a placement in Noasauridae for now. The group currently consists of 4 members: Spinostropheus, Limusaurus, Elaphrosaurus, and Afromimus, which lived from the mid-Jurassic to the early Cretaceous. They are currently known from Africa and China, with possible Elaphrosaurines known from Europe and North America. Based on Limusaurus, the most well-known member, adult Elaphrosaurines possess toothless beaks adapted for feeding on vegetation, and likely had herbivorous diets, while juveniles had teeth and may have been omnivores. First is Spinostropheus gautieri, or Gautier's spined vertebra, which refers to the cervical vertebrae and honors Francois Gautier, who discovered the animal. It was first described as a species of Elaphrosaurus by Albert Felix de la Parente in 1960, and was later given its own genus by Paul Sereno in 2004. It is known from 3 partial skeletons found in the Tiaouraren Formation in Niger, which was originally thought to date to the Barremian of the early Cretaceous, but has now been dated to from the Bathonian of the mid-Jurassic to the Oxfordian of the late Jurassic, about 168 to 158 million years ago. Based on its remains, Spinostropheus has been estimated to reach a length of 4 meters or 13 feet long, a height of 1 meter or 3 feet tall at the shoulder, and a weight of around 200 kilograms or 440 pounds. Although we have yet to find a skull of the animal, studies have shown that Spinostropheus was likely very closely related to Elaphrosaurus, and thus is likely an Elaphrosauri. Only 2 other dinosaurs are known from this formation, the sauropod Jobaria and the megalosaur Afrovenator, the latter of which likely preyed on Spinostropheus. The next Elaphrosaurian is also the most well-known. Limusaurus inextricabilis, or inescapable mud lizard, refers to the fact that the specimens appeared to have died after being trapped in mud pits. It was described by Zhu Zhang and his colleagues in 2009 based on a nearly complete skeleton found in the Shishugao Formation. If you've watched the previous natural histories, you'll remember that Shishugao also houses the Metrocanthosaurine allosauride Cenraptor and the Proceratosaurid Tyrannosaurid Guanlong. Adults could measure at a length of 1.7 meters or 5.5 feet long, a height of half a meter or 1.6 feet tall at the shoulder, and a weight of 15 kilograms or 33 pounds. As stated before, adults are believed to have been herbivorous, while juveniles likely had an omnivorous diet. What's more interesting is that Limusaurus appear to actually lose teeth as they age, starting out with a mouthful of teeth as babies and gradually losing them as they reach adulthood. This is incredibly rare in the animal kingdom, as only certain species of fish and the platypus are known to do this today. It likely served as prey for carnivorous theropods like juvenile Cenraptor, Guanlong, and Zuolong. Next, we have the largest known Noasaurid and the namesake of Elaphrosaurinae, Elaphrosaurus bambergi, or Bamberg's light-footed lizard. It was described in 1920 by a German paleontologist Werner Janensch, and its genus name refers to the fact that it is believed to have been able to run really fast, while the species name honors Paul Bamberg, who financed the expedition that discovered it. It is currently known from the middle dinosaur member of the Tendaguru Formation in Tanzania, which has been dated to the Camarillasaurus of the late Jurassic, about 157 to 152 million years ago. Remains have been found in the Morrison Formation that may belong to a species of Elaphrosaurus or a close relative, but that is not entirely clear at this time. As stated before, it is the largest known Noasaurid as well as the largest known Elaphrosaurine, at an estimated length of 6.2 meters or 20 feet long, a height of 1.5 meters or 5 feet tall to shoulder, and a weight of over 200 kilograms or 460 pounds. It has traditionally been classified as a basal ceratosaur, and some scientists even considered it a late surviving coelophysoid, but it wasn't until 2016 that Elaphrosaurus was classified as a Noasaurid, and the subfamily Elaphrosaurinae was formed, consisting of it, Limusaurus, and Spinostropheus. Because of this recent classification and its close relation to Limusaurus, Elaphrosaurus has shifted from being a predator of small dinosaurs to being an omnivorous or possibly herbivorous animal. It coexisted with many other dinosaurs, which often resemble those from the Morrison and Lorena formations. These include Diceratosaurus, Kentrosaurus, Dicraeosaurus, Giraffatitan, Torniaria, and an unnamed brachiosaur known only as the Archbishop. It also coexisted with some carnivorous theropods which likely preyed on it, including the first Spinosaur and Carcharodontosaur respectively, Ostafrikasaurus and Verupristosaurus. Remains formerly attributed to Allosaurus and Ceratosaurus have also been recovered from the formation. Last in Elaphrosaurinae is Afromimus tenerensis, or Africa mimic from Tenere, which refers to its discovery in Africa, specifically the Tenere Desert in Niger, as well as its original classification as an ornithomimosaur. It was described as recently as 2017 by famous paleontologist Paul Sereno, based on parts of the right leg, ribs, and vertebrae found in the Ellerhaus Formation in Niger, which dates from the Aptian to the early Albian ages of the mid-Cretaceous, about 125 to 112 million years ago. This formation is better known for a few somewhat famous dinosaurs like Suchomimus, Uranosaurus, and Nigersaurus, as well as the giant crocodilian Sarcosuchus. Although Sereno described it as an ornithomimosaur, a recent paper suggests that it belongs in Abelisauroidea, and with the presence of two other Elaphrosaurines from Africa and the fact that it was mistaken for an ornithomimosaur, I feel it's reasonable to place Afromimus in Elaphrosaurinae for the time being. As an Elaphrosaurine, Afromimus would have been an omnivore or herbivore, and likely would have fallen prey to carnivorous theropods like Cryptops and Eocaria. Now we are on the final stretch for Noasauridae with the subfamily Noasaurinae, which includes all Noasaurids more closely related to Noasaurus than to Elaphrosaurus. This currently consists of 6 genera, 3 known from South America, 1 from Madagascar, 1 from India, and 1 from Pakistan. The group had a temporal range from the Santonian to the Maastrichtian age of the late Cretaceous period, about 86 to 66 million years ago. They can be distinguished from the Elaphrosaurines mostly by their diet, which is definitely carnivorous based on their sharp teeth, which they maintain their entire life rather than lose as they age like Elaphrosaurines. Noasaurines are also a lot smaller and less built for running than the Elaphrosaurines, which are commonly compared to ostriches and ornithomimosaurs. Although many Noasaurians are fragmentary, much of their appearance can be determined from the most completely known member of the group, Masiakasaurus. We'll be starting this family with a very recent discovery and the earliest known Noasaurian, Vespersaurus paranaensis, or Western Cross Lizard of Parana, which refers to the town near it was discovered, Cruzeiro do Oeste, or Western Cross, as well as the Parana state where it was found. It was described very recently in a paper released on June 26th of this year under the title A New Desert-Dwelling Dinosaur, Theropoda Noasaurinae, from the Cretaceous of South Brazil, which will be linked in the description for anyone who's interested. The paper was written by Max C. Langer and his team, who described the animal based on an isolated frontal bone, some teeth, neck, trunk, and tail vertebrae, and other postcranial remains, including parts of the arms and legs. These remains are known from the Rio Parana Formation in southern Brazil, and it is the only non-avian dinosaur currently described from the site. The dating of this site is not entirely certain, but a mid-Cretaceous date seems to be the current theory, likely around 90 million years ago. It is currently estimated at a length of 1.6 meters or 5 feet long, a height of 80 centimeters or 2.5 feet tall at the shoulder, and a weight of around 15 kilograms or over 30 pounds. There are actually two interesting things about this animal. The first being that based on the structure of the foot, the authors of the paper theorized that the animal would have put most of its weight into its large third toe, maybe even only walking on one of its toes. This may have had something to do with the second thing, which is that the site it was found in is believed to have been in what is called the Botucatu Desert, which would have been present during the mid-Cretaceous. Being the first dinosaur found in its formation, little is known about the ecosystem that Vespersaurus lived in, and the only other animal recorded from the site is an unnamed mammal, and judging by the shape of its teeth and its classification as a Noasaurian, suggests it probably ate small vertebrates, with the unnamed mammal likely being on the menu. Next, we have the smallest known Noasaurian, Velocisaurus unicus, or unique swift lizard, which was named and described by Jose Bonaparte in 1991 based on the holotype, a nearly complete right foot, which showed unique adaptations for running. It is also known from a partial left leg found in 2016, and all remains are known from the Basal de la Carpa Formation in Argentina, which dates from the mid to late Santonian age of the late Cretaceous, about 86 to 83 million years ago. Velocisaurus is estimated to reach a length of 1.5 meters or 5 feet long, a height of half a meter or 1.5 feet tall, and a weight of 10 kilograms or 22 pounds. It was originally placed in its own family called Velocisauridae by Bonaparte, but it was later placed in Noasauridae when it was found to be closely related to Masiakasaurus, forming a subfamily called Velocisaurinae, which is now properly called Noasaurinae. Due to its small size, Velocisaurus likely preyed on small vertebrates like the snake Deinonychia and birds like Nucleornis and Patagonopteryx, and it may have competed with crocodilomorphs like Noasaurus and Camarillasaurus. It also coexisted with large theropods like the Abelisauroidea and the Megaropteran Trachyania, both of which likely preyed on Velocisaurus. Now we have the namesake of Noasaurinae and Noasauridae, Noasaurus leali, which translates to Leal's northwestern Argentina lizard, and refers to the abbreviation of Noroeste Argentina, Spanish for Northwest Argentina, and also honors Don Leal, who owned the property where the animal was first found in the 1970s. It was officially described and named by Jaime Powell and Jose Bonaparte in 1980 based on a very fragmentary skeleton. Based on these remains, Noasaurus is estimated to reach a length of 2 to 2.4 meters or 6.5 to 8 feet long, a height of about half a meter or 1.5 feet tall at the shoulder, and a weight of 15 kilograms or over 30 pounds, making it slightly larger than Velocisaurus. It is currently known only from the Lecho Formation in Argentina, which has been dated to the early Maastrichtian age, about 70 to 68 million years ago, along with the Titanosaur Saltosaurus, although it may also be contemporary with the Allen and La Colonia formations of similar age, which include Lapampasaurus, Ozraptor, Bonatitan, Bonapartenicus, and more. It likely preyed on small vertebrates, primarily birds like Elaphrosaurus, Enantiornis, Lactavis, Martinavis, and Ceratosaurus, although it may have also hunted small mammals and the young of other dinosaurs, as well as those of the pterosaur era Titan. It also likely coexisted with the Abelisauroids, Kilmasaurus, and Carnotaurus, which would have preyed on Noasaurus. Also similar to Megaraptor, Noasaurus was also previously thought to be a dromaeosaur based on a large hand claw which was thought to belong on the foot. So there's an interesting fact for you. Next we have Laevisuchus indicus, or light crocodile from India, which is currently only known from some vertebrae described by Friedrich von Huene and Charles Matley in 1933. It was initially classified as a coelurid, but was later classified as an Abelisauroid in 2004. Currently, it is believed to be a Noasaurian based on the fact that its vertebrae are incredibly similar to other Noasaurians like Masiakasaurus and Noasaurus. It is known from the Lameta Formation in India, which dates to the Maastrichtian age of the late Cretaceous, about 70 to 66 million years ago. Current estimates place it at a length of 2 meters or 6.5 feet long, a height of a meter or 3 feet tall at the shoulder, and a weight of about 30 kilograms or 66 pounds. And if it truly is related to Noasaurus and Masiakasaurus, it likely preyed on small vertebrates like lizards, birds, and mammals. It coexisted with large sauropods like Titanosaurus and Isosaurus, as well as not one, not two, not three, but 4 large Abelisauroids, Rajasaurus, Indosaurus, Indosuchus, and Rahiosaurus, which likely preyed on Laevisuchus. The next member, Vitakrisaurus sauricae, or Vitakri lizard of the Sauricae, was named in reference to the Vitakri member of the Pab Formation in Pakistan, where it was found, and the Sauricae people who lived in the area. It was described in 2010 by M. Sadiq Malkani, sorry if I butchered that, based on partial foot remains, and is believed to be a Noasaurid, specifically a Noasaurian based on similarities with the foot of Velocisaurus, although this classification has been questioned. The Pab Formation in which it was found currently dates to the Maastrichtian age of the late Cretaceous, about 70 to 66 million years ago. The formation consists mostly of titanosauriforms like Pachysaurus, Balochysaurus, Brachiosaurus, Catranosaurus, Marisaurus, and Suleimanosaurus, although it also includes the crocodiliform Poblaci and the Abelisaurid Vitakrisaurus. To wrap up the Noasaurids, we have the last and most complete of the Noasaurians, and a close second to Limusaurus as the most complete of all Noasaurids. That animal is Masiakasaurus knotflurry, or Knopfler's vicious lizard, which uses the Malagasy lizard for vicious, Masiaka, and honors Mark Knopfler, lead singer of the Dire Straits, as the expedition crew was listening to their music when they discovered its fossils. It was described in 2001 by Scott Sampson, Matthew Carano, and Catherine Foster, who originally classified it as a basal Abelisauroid, but placed it in the recently formed group Noasauridae the following year in 2002, specifically in the subfamily Noasaurinae, where it serves as reference to fill in the blanks for more incomplete Noasaurians. Due to its relatively complete remains, we can get a pretty good estimate as to the size of Masiakasaurus. At a length of 1.8 to 2 meters or 6 to 6.5 feet long, a height of half a meter or 1.5 feet tall, and a weight of 20 kilograms or about 45 pounds, making it the largest known Noasaurian. It is currently known from the Maivarano Formation in northwestern Madagascar, which is dated from the mid to late Maastrichtian of the late Cretaceous, about 70 to 66 million years ago. If you saw my very first scientific analysis video, you might remember that Maivarano is the same formation in which Majungasaurus was found. The most unique thing about Masiakasaurus is its lower jaw, as the front teeth splay outward, which scientists believe was an adaptation for grasping smaller prey, as they really weren't well suited for tearing large prey apart. As such, it likely preyed primarily on small vertebrates like the bird varana, the parave rahonavis, the crocodilomorph Laevisuchus, and maybe even the giant frog Beelzebufo. Beelzebufo may have also served as competition for prey, and Masiakasaurus would have fallen prey to the crocodilomorph Mahajangasuchus, the giant snake Madsoia, and of course Majungasaurus. That wraps it up for Noasauridae, but there is one more small group we need to cover. That group is the family Ceratosauridae, which includes all ceratosaurs more closely related to Ceratosaurus than to Carnotaurus, Noasaurus, or Elaphrosaurus. This family currently only contains 2 genera, although possible unnamed Ceratosaurids are known from mid-Jurassic Madagascar, late Jurassic Switzerland, and the late Jurassic/early Cretaceous of Uruguay. Currently, Ceratosaurids are known from North America, Europe, South America, and possibly Africa, with a range of 155 to 100 million years ago, from the Camarillasaurus of the late Jurassic to the Albion of the early Cretaceous. Both of the known Ceratosaurids were mid-sized predators that coexisted with much larger Elaphrosaurids, and while one is relatively obscure and not well known, the other and first member of this family is quite well known, and the namesake of the entire clade of Ceratosauria. That animal is, of course, Ceratosaurus nasicornis, or a horned lizard with a nose horn. Its rather redundant scientific name references the horn-like crests on Ceratosaurus's head, particularly the one above the nose. Such an elaborate head display is practically unheard of in almost any other theropod, the closest being Velocisaurus carnotaurus. The type species, C. nasicornis, was described by Othniel Charles Marsh in 1884, and while 2 other species have been proposed for Ceratosaurus, those being Ceratosaurus dentisulcatus, horned lizard with grooved teeth, and Ceratosaurus magnicornis, horned lizard with large horns, the validity of these 2 species is not entirely certain, meaning they might be synonyms of C. nasicornis, possibly different growth stages or individual variation. Ceratosaurus is mostly known from the Morrison Formation in North America, but possible remains have been found in both the Tendaguru Formation in Tanzania and the Lorena Formation in Portugal, all three of which date from the Camarillasan to the Tithonian of the late Jurassic, about 155 to 145 million years ago. It is estimated to reach a length of 5.5 to 7 meters, or 18 to 22 feet long, a height of 1.5 to 2 meters, or 5 to 6.5 feet tall at the shoulder, and weighing between 3/4 of a ton to a ton. The exact diet of Ceratosaurus is not entirely clear, although a common theory between paleontologists is that Ceratosaurus hunted more aquatic prey, due to its presence in more aquatic localities. However, Ceratosaurus may have also hunted small to mid-sized herbivorous dinosaurs. These would include Dryosaurus, Ophnilosaurus, Comptosaurus, Utaeodon, Gargoylosaurus, Memorapelta, Frutodens, and juvenile stegosaurs and sauropods. It could have also hunted smaller theropods like Ornitholestes, Stoxosaurus, Silurus, and Tanacolagrius, and it may have competed with the Megalosaur Marchosaurus for food. It also coexisted with three larger theropods, Torvosaurus, Allosaurus, and Saurophaganax, but it probably didn't compete with them due to niche partitioning. Finally, its iconic horns, which, while they appear to be weapons, were actually pretty fragile and were probably used for display, either to attract mates or repel rivals. The next and final Ceratosaurid is nowhere near as well known as its cousin, but it is interesting regardless. Genyodectes cirrus, or late jawbiter, refers to its massive teeth and its current status as the last known ceratosaurid. It was described in 1901 by Sir Arthur Woodward and was the second non-avian dinosaur to be described from South America, the first being a now dubious ornithopod called Longosaurus. For the longest time, Genyodectes was considered nomen dubium until a study in 2004 suggested that it was most closely related to Ceratosaurus. Thus it is placed in the family Ceratosauridae. Although it is only known from a partial snout, Genyodectes is estimated to reach a length of 6 to 7 meters, or 20 to 23 feet long, a height of 1.5 to 2 meters, or 5 to 6.5 feet tall at the shoulder, and a weight of about 1 U.S. ton. The animal is currently known only from the Cerro Castaño member of the Cerro Barcino Formation in the Chubut province of Argentina, which dates from the Aptian to the Albian of the mid-Cretaceous, about 120 to 100 million years ago. Very few animals are known from this member, which includes the crocodilomorph Barsinosuchus, the Titanosaur Patagotitan, and the Carcharodontosaur Tyrannotitan. As it was too small to be much of a threat to Patagotitan, Genyodectes may have hunted Barsinosuchus, as well as iguanodonts that may have lived in the area, while Tyrannotitan may have occasionally preyed on the Ceratosaur. Like Saltriovenator near the beginning of the video, Genyodectes is commonly depicted both with and without Ceratosaurus-like horns, and once again, neither depiction can be proved or disproved until more fossils are found, although its close relation to Ceratosaurus may mean that the horned version could be the more accurate depiction. Now, you might notice that I omitted the possible Ceratosaurs section, and that's purely for the purpose of time. Since there's so many, I will be putting all possible, dubious, or unnamed Ceratosaurs in a part 3 video once I cover Abelisauroids. That does it for part 1 of Ceratosauria. The next part will cover the last family of Ceratosauria, Abelisauroidae, which includes dinosaurs like Majungasaurus and Carnotaurus. However, it may take a while for part 2 to come out, as I will probably start Dromaeosaurs and finish off the Tyrannosaurids first. We'll be returning soon with another Jurassic Fight Club analysis, this time for episode 8, Raptor's Last Stand, followed by part 1 of the natural history of Dromaeosaurids and possibly a creature profile. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and this is Paleo Nerd signing out.